So Pharaoh had given permission for the Hebrew slaves to leave and go to the Promised Land. But once they started heading out, they got to the Red Sea, and Pharaoh's army started following them because they had changed their minds and wanted to take them back. So the Hebrews had to figure out how to get across the water. So they prayed and asked God what to do, and God split the sea in two and let them walk on dry land. After they got across the dry land, then the Pharaoh's army tried to follow them, and the sea recovered the land, and all of the soldiers drowned. Hey everybody, we are hanging out, ready to do our lesson for VBS this week. Here we are hanging out, ready to do our lesson this week. And we have Henrietta. Where's Buzz? Buzz! Here, do you want some? We got treats for him again. Keep him here. There he is. Yeah. And where are we this week, Zeke, that we're doing our lesson at?
In the garage. Hey.
In the garage. And in our garage, as are with many Methodist pastors, we have a collection of something that we don't need to use right away, but we're keeping it for the day when we need to use it.
He has
Zeke?
so much slobber in his mouth.
Zeke, what is behind you?
A box.
A box, not just any box. It's a huge box. Why do we have a box in the garage?
Because that's where we keep it.
What do we use it for?
Boxly stuff like moving.
Like moving. Actually, moving is exactly what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Zeke, you're kind of an expert mover because you're a PK. How many times have you moved?
11?
No.
7?
11. You've moved several times. And what's something that happens when you move? Can you tell us a little bit about moving?
You lose your house.
You change houses, right? Is it scary?
Only if you're not used to it.
Were you sad when we moved here? I mean,
Yes.
a little bit, yeah, because you had just left all your friends and everything that we kind of knew back in Fountain to come here. And we were moving farther away from family. There was a lot of stuff going on. And the dogs were even a little scared because Buzz hates riding in the car, right? But when we moved here, we got some great things happened when we moved here, huh?
Uh-huh.
Like what?
We got a garden and a bigger backyard.
We got a great backyard, which has really helped out during the whole coronavirus thing, huh? So our story today is about moving because the Israelites had been slaves in Egypt for a long time, and God was taking them to a better place, to the Promised Land, and Moses was leading the way. But as soon as they got out of Egypt, they came to a body of water called the Red Sea, and the Red Sea was huge, Zeke. And they had been slaves for a long time in Egypt, which is very desert-like. Do you think they knew how to swim real great?
No.
No. Do you think they were excited about carrying all of their possessions while they tried to swim across this giant Red Sea?
No.
No, they weren't. In fact, they were really scared. And what that sea kind of showed was it was kind of the mark of the place where they could not turn back anymore and go back to Egypt. And they were really scared too, not only because they were facing the Red Sea and moving, but they were also, the Egyptian army changed their mind and started following them and were going to hurt them. So they prayed and they said, God, we need a lot of help. We don't know what the future holds, but we trust you and we need help getting across this Red Sea. So God was going to have to lead them across the Red Sea, right?
Yeah.
And with all of their stuff because they were moving, and God did. Moses raised up his hands and the Red Sea parted and there was dry land. The wind actually blew over that and dried out the land so they could roll all of their carts, all of their possessions could come with them and they could walk across dry land. And then when the Egyptian army followed them, what happened to the Egyptian army? As soon as they got on the dry land in the middle of the Red Sea, the water started coming back, and it made all of their chariots get stuck in the water, and the water came back and they drowned. And the Israelites didn't have any enemies to be scared of anymore. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So one of the things that we hold on to as a truth in this story is that all of us face things like the Red Sea that seem too big to get across.
The big one. And
we don't know what the future holds. We don't know what's beyond the Red Sea. But you know what? Just like God went with just as God went with the Hebrews and went with them into the desert beyond the land that they knew, God goes with us when we go to places that we've never been before. When we move from LaFountain to Greendale, or wherever we find ourselves moving, whatever future we don't quite know yet, God goes with us. Do you think there's some things that are uncertain in our future right now? One of them, we are not moving. So we know that we're not moving this year. But what else might be something that, we might be a little afraid of the future? There's Henrietta. Okay, Zeke, so what are some things that we might not know about the future right now that we might be scared of? Not moving, right?
Church.
We're not going to know what church is going to look like for a little bit, right? Well, we're still dealing with the coronavirus. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to know what it's going to be like to gather at school yet this year, right? In the fall, it's going to look different. But you know what? No matter how different it looks, no matter where we find ourselves, who goes with us?
God.
God goes with us. He sure does. So whatever we face, we know God is going to be there with us, and he's going to help us through. If it's moving like we did, right? God was here just like he was in LaFountain, and just like he was in Saratoga before that, and just like he was in Royal Center before that.
Yes.
That God's been there with us every place we've gone. And God's going to be with every kid out there, no matter where they are or whatever about the future makes them a little scared, that God is with us and he helps us through all the things that we may be afraid of and helps us to move forward. Isn't that awesome? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what we want to remind everyone. Don't be scared. God's going with you and making a way for you.